Hello everyone, so today I'm going to show you a technique of drawing with fountain pen, and you can choose any pen you want. There are so many types of fountain pens. I particularly like to use F or EF nib. I'm talking about nib. So there are different kind of nibs. As you can see, it says F here. Sometimes it says M and B. B is broad, M is for medium size, and F is for fine size, and sometimes it says EF, which is called F extra fine. So the extra fine is very smooth and fine. And I also like extra fine as well, but this is specific, like with this very nice. It's very versatile. You can do a lot of things with that. So the reason I'm showing you this because I used to draw a certain way with the fountain pen, and I really like to show this technique. Uh, I usually like to express some gringe, some water washes effect, some marker, gray marker kind of effect in my drawing, which is very nice for tonal variation in your forms. So for this purpose, if you have a fountain pen and the ink is water soluble, that's really important. If the ink is water soluble, what you can do, you can go with something like that, like brush pen, and if you go over your lines, it will easily like dilute and you have nice ink washes. So wherever you want to give some effect, you can easily do something like that. So I'm going to demonstrate you now in a few minutes. So that's very important. If your ink is water based, it's easy to smudge. If your ink is oil based, it is going to be waterproof, and which is really nice for the watercolor. Let me show you example of very famous pen, this one. So this is waterproof pen, if I'm not wrong, because I've done so many paintings with that. So let's just try. Sometimes people try some oil-based ink and they right away go over the lines. Obviously it's going to be smudged if it's not dried up, but this pen is really nice and they dry very quick, so you can go over them, but still you can see it's still smudging. Oh man, it's proved me wrong, but it's not totally smudged. Like you can still see there are some lines there as well. But there are certainly some pens which are waterproof. For example, pen 10 point liner. Let me show you that one. This point liner, they are actually waterproof, so you can go over them. This gray shade is actually from the buff line, so you can easily do watercolor paintings and watercolor artwork with the waterproof pen, and it says like water and fade resistant. So but it also says the same thing, waterproof and fade proof, but I don't know why it's happening. Usually this is not happen with this pen. Maybe it's not dry right now. Yeah, I can see it's not dry. Let it be dry. I will check in few minutes and see if it's working or not. So what I usually do, like, let me show you an example of a drawing. Let's draw something. Let's say I'm drawing some character. So what I usually do, I go with some direct form drawing. Let's say there is a head. So normally whatever you draw, like, go ahead and draw something, but leave some space, some areas where you think it's going to be darker. Let's say there I think it's going to be darker, so I'm leaving more marks there, and you will understand why I'm leaving there more marks. Let's say here I know it's going to be darker. I know this area is going to be darker, so I'm going to leave more marks there. And let's say there is going to be an eye here, so, and I'm thinking of his nose here, continue from there. Some fairy drawing, and this is going to be all in dark shadow. So what I'm going to do next is keeping my pen here and picking up my brush pen. Make sure it's not there's no residue of ink before from before. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up trying to dilute all of the edges. Good thing about this brush pen, like you can squeeze, and as you can see, there's water coming into this reservoir, and this reservoir transfers the water to the brush. So it's very nice gradual wave, and you can control your usage of water in this way. I do all of my watercolor paintings with this brush, and they're really nice. For my purpose, like I do small paintings, so I don't need like much water, like water glaze or water washes, big area washes. So it's really fun to use in this way. I don't need to prepare a lot for any watercolor painting. I just bring this watercolor brush and then start painting. So as you can see, what I'm doing, I'm going over the areas where I need some value. Let's say I need some value here, but I have no marking there. What I can do, I can go some black area and pick up some ink from black area and put it onto the white area. Also, what you can do, you can go over your pen and pick some darker lines from there. This is going to be in shadow, and let's say you have too much ink in your brush, so what you can do, you can wipe out on some extra paper or on your hand. In my case, I like to do some mess on my hand as well, give you the vibe of like you are an artist. It's nice. You can see here. So all you need to do, like you are going to create some dents, some edges and soft edges, some hard edges with the values. So the value is simple, like why we use value, how can you define value in your drawing? So in simple way, value means surface change. Let's say light is coming from this direction, so obviously this is going to be the lit area, this is going to be the most dark area as compared to this, and so the surface change, the value change. So that's the simple rule of lighting or shading. Wherever you think the surface is going to change, you need to change the value, like it's going to be either dark or light according to the light direction. So that's the simple rule of lighting. If you have more than one light, you can think about more light direction and intensity of light. Let's say sometimes there are some reflective light, which is I'm taking care of here in the head. Like there is maybe light coming from the bottom side, that's why this downside area of the head is lit, but I will make it a little bit more darker because it's not going to be lit that much dark, it's reflected light. So I'm going to make it a little bit diluted or a little bit like shaded. Light is coming from top direction, I'm going to make it a little bit darker there to add some cringe effect. So in this way you can also cover a lot of like mistakes. Let's say you have done some mistake here, you can just wipe it out with your water brush. So ink is going to be highlighted. Good thing about Lamy ink is like it's going to be vanished. Like if you have some mark here, let me give you an example. Let's say I really want to have this mark removed or fade away. Oh, sorry. Fade away. So what I can do, I can just, yeah, something like that, dilute those marks into the paper. It's also depend on paper. If your paper is too much ink absorbent, like in my case, as you can see, there are some marks happening like there. So it also depend on paper. If your paper is not too much ink like absorbent, so it's going to be totally dissolve. See, this kind of thing I'm talking about. And this random marks really give you some depth, like it's like not only plain surface, there are some rough edges as well on the surface. So that's the thing. Let me draw one more thing and one more character standing there. So this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw the whole character and then try to add the shade and shadow. Good thing about what I usually do when I draw with ink, like I try to draw my lines very how to say it, not too much clean, like they are going into each other. It's also going to create some depth or some forms, because see, when you draw lines like that, it creates some folding effect. Like if you draw lines like overlapping and intersecting, this part of intersecting like Y shape, it's really making some overlapping effect. So that's what makes your drawing a little bit dynamic. Let's say there is a circle and then there is another circle, so see that circle making the overlapping effect. See, you can see it's happening here in the eye area, like this is your eyebrow. um, if you can play with the line arrangement, it doesn't have to be like clean like that. You can play with the broken line in your favor. And then if now I think the light is come from top to bottom, so this is going to be in the shadow. So I can divide the shadow area from the light area. Basic lighting setup, like, see, the cell shading, famous shell shading, sorry, shading, shading, and it's going to cast shadow on the face as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over the areas with the shadow. Don't worry about if you wash over the lines, you can always go over again with your fine fountain pen to draw the lines again. There is line in this technique. You have a very nice Riley effect going on. If you know about the shading, you know the Riley effect. I will explain in a few minutes what Riley method is. So you can see, and this is also kind of a shadow over the hat. Form shadow, cast shadow. There are only two kind of shadow, either a form shadow or a casting shadow. Occlusion is also a type of shadow, but it's actually a kind of mixture of both. So here we have that, and what you can do, you can go over the light area as well to add some kind of value there as well. So it's not like they are all very much like white. You can go over that. So hope you like that, and let me just quickly show you the Riley method. So Riley method is like division of light and dark, like basically light shape and dark shape. But what I really like about Riley method is like they have a really nice like they show the division of light and dark, but also they have a very nice effect of terminator. Terminator is an area which separates line which separate the dark from light shape. So as you can see, this is the terminator point which terminates the light from the dark shape. So they have this very dark effect of terminator. As you can see here, it's happening. It's making the terminator line darker, and the shadow shapes very like it's fading. Can you see? It's like darker and then it's going away and making the fade effect. This is what I really like in Riley effect. They use pencil to draw with, but you can do same thing with inks. So hope you like this video, and like and subscribe, share. See you in the next one. Thank you.